What's going on, guys? It's Gothalion, and there's been a little bit of Borderlands 2 news this morning, though it's not really like Borderlands 2 news. It's sort of just Borderlands in general. Evidently, there is a bit of a prequel to Borderlands 2 being developed by Gearbox. I am taking this with an absolute grain of salt. I saw it reported on IGN and a couple other sites. I'll link you to the article in my description. You guys let me know how you feel about this, but it's being cited on a couple of gaming sites. Basically, it's supposed to take place in between Borderlands 1 and 2 with a new group of Vault Hunters, though they're not really Vault Hunters. They're being said to be Handsome Jack's lieutenants. This game is supposed to follow the story of basically how Handsome Jack came to power. They refer to him as John, the lowly engineer at Hyperion, which is basically Jack's story, because the old CEO of Hyperion used to call him John, and basically it was part of his whole master plan to find the Eridium artifact and unleash Eridium around fucking Pandora. Anyways, this game is supposed to take place on the moon and inside the moon base, and there's said to be a couple new things, one of which are laser type weapons, and then another is like a freeze type glass weapon that will freeze enemies. So there's supposed to be two new weapon types. Oxygen mechanics are supposed to be in play whenever you are outside of like moon base type areas. So if you're actually out on the moon, there's going to be oxygen tanks, and evidently there will also be jetpacks for getting around quicker, and so there's a new sort of like movement mechanic within this Borderlands. We'll call it Borderlands 1.5 for now, because obviously if this is actually a thing, it'll have like a sub-name. It won't be Borderlands 2, it'll be like Borderlands Rise of Jack or something like that. So that's the gist of the story. It's all about the rise of Jack to becoming the president of Hyperion and how he exactly dicked over everybody, you know? So you're playing as his lieutenants. Let's talk about who you're playing as. And remember, take all of this with a grain of salt. I'll believe it when I hear it from Randy Pitchford himself or some other Gearbox employee, but you know that Randy's the one who likes to announce things, and you know, we got PAX just around the corner, so pay attention to that. But let's talk about our heroes, which, as I said, are supposed to be lieutenants of Jack, or they're calling him John in this, but it's Handsome Jack. You have some favorites coming back. We're gonna go over all four of them. The first of which is the one I'm most excited about, and that's Athena. Athena was a Atlas assassin in Borderlands 1 who was in the Nox DLC. And people are going to immediately think, oh, it's just going to be a female Zero. I'm sure that her action skill would end up being different. I feel like it would probably be a fair mix between Krieg and Zero, where if she is using a melee weapon, it's more prominent. It's not just like a one-time use. I don't think that she'll have an active stealth. I think it'll kind of be like she pulls out her Digistruct sword, because she did use a Digistruct sword as well. Whether or not that's going to end up being her power, or if she's using the PTD, which is the personal transporter device that she likes to use to help her teleport around, maybe that will be her action skill. But really, who knows? But I don't think that they're going to straight up copy Zero's deception. Don't expect that, but maybe she'll have some sort of stealth to her. The second of which was pretty cool, is Wilhelm. Wilhelm is coming back. Oh yeah, Athena's class is going to be called the Gladiator. Wilhelm will be the Enforcer. Now, we're going to be able to get to know Wilhelm probably being Super Cyborg Man. Wilhelm, I assume that his action skill will be some sort of mech suit, because from the sounds of it, he does use a mech suit, which is kind of cool. So Wilhelm is the Enforcer. The third we don't know much about, but I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say that it's the Sheriff of Lynchwood, because it is Nisha the Lawbringer, or Nisha. We'll call her Nisha. I like that better. It's Nisha the Lawbringer, and it just makes sense for one of Handsome Jack's lieutenants to be the Sheriff of Lynchwood, as she ends up being his girlfriend. So maybe she helped him rise to power, and you know, he appointed Nisha the Sheriff of Lynchwood upon him becoming president of Hyperion. That makes the most sense to me. So our third character is going to be Nisha. She seems like she's a pistol wielding type from what we know in Borderlands 2, but we don't really know what her action skill is going to be. Maybe she calls out the deputy or something. I don't know. I hope we stray from a pet class, but I really can't say for sure what her ability is going to be. The last character is Fragtrap, and Fragtrap is supposed to be a bulkier version of our friend Claptrap. And they didn't really say much beyond that. Again, this is all just fucking, take it with a grain of salt. You know, none of this might be true. Don't get your hopes too high, but, you know, let's still pay attention to it, because, I mean, IGN reported on it, and some Australian site reported on it, but we'll see what exactly is going on. Probably, I would guess at PAX, or we're going to hear something soon, since it's being leaked, and Gearbox usually tends to not leak information earlier than when they want to, except when they put an entire fucking DLC inside a DLC. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah, I don't know, guys. It seems pretty interesting. I would kind of like to see that storyline, see the exacts of how Jack came to power. Was Jack always a fucker? You know, maybe he went into this not gonna be a fucker, but once he tasted power, he kind of lost his shit, you know? Maybe he wasn't gonna be the villain, and I would like to see what happens to Athena. My guess is Athena and Fragtrap get fucked and are killed at the end of it, and then obviously Wilhelm probably was gonna go against Jack as well, but ended up being turned into a cyborg. This is all my speculation. But again, guys, grain of salt. But how do you feel about this? Do you want to see Borderlands 1.5? I know it's not Borderlands 3. Here's the other kicker. It's supposed to only be coming to last-gen consoles and PC. So I don't know how true that is. It just doesn't make sense for them to put out a game that's only last-gen consoles and PC. I think it should be on everything. But, you know, I'm a dreamer. It's possible that this thing was being developed before Borderlands 2 was finished, you know what I mean? Or a separate sub studio was working on it right when Borderlands 2 was being worked on. What's the situation? Who's the writer? What's the engine? Yada yada yada. I assume that it probably uses the exact same game engine as Borderlands 2, and I don't know. Hopefully we'll hear more. If I hear more soon, I will let you know the second I know. Again, sound off in the comments below. How do you guys feel about seeing Athena and Wilhelm as playable characters? Nisha, which is probably the Sheriff of Lynchwood. Let's just assume it is, because it just makes sense. Her class name is the Lawbringer, so it just makes sense to me. You know, like that'd be cool for them to make the sheriff playable. The only character that we would end up not really knowing is, of course, Fragtrap. But I don't know, guys. Again, sound off below. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Is this something you're excited about? It's supposed to be out this year, is the thing. It's supposed to come out this year at some point, which maybe they'll put it out at the 2-year anniversary of Borderlands 2, which would be cool, because then maybe Gearbox would be getting into a cycle of a semi-annual release of Borderlands. You know, maybe we have an official number Borderlands every 4 years, and then 2 years after that comes out, we get a sub-story, which is this. I don't know if it's going to be as long. You know what I'm just telling you guys what I know. I'm telling you what I know and what I think. You know, my hopes are high for this. I hope it happens. This would be an amazing year for looting and shooting. Why? Because, well, we have Destiny coming out. We would have Borderlands 1.5 coming out. And we would have a game called The Division coming out, which I'm really looking forward to, and I'm going to start doing coverage on soon. And you guys really need to watch The Division, because it's going to be another looter shooter. Looter shooters are coming in great force, gang. I think it's pretty awesome. Anyways, sound off below. Tell me what you think. Grain of salt, do you think these reports are probably valid? I feel like Gearbox doesn't tend to leak shit early. And hopefully I'll see you guys back at Borderlands. Later.